Today's video is going to be a start to finish. We're going to start with gel prints and we're going to end with a collage. Welcome back, friends. So today we're going to work in this Dylusions journal. This is by Ranger. Really nice paper. I haven't used it too many times. You know me, I like the board books and I also like my little Soho book. But these larger pages can be a little bit more challenging, so let's go for it. So one of the things that I like about this journal, and you're going to see when I turn the page, we have some that lay really flat. See the way it's stitched? That's the one we're going to work in today. So we're going to start with working with some reds, purples, and an iridescent bronze fine. I love that paint from Golden. So we're going to use a lot of the bronze, but I love quinacridone red. Absolutely love it. And I bought quinacridone purple, so we're going to play with that as well. And then we might switch it up a little bit. But let's start with that. And I'm going to mix up some textures. And we're also going to be working with medical exam paper in sort of a patchwork style. And that way I get nice large papers for my large journal pages. So the very first one I had already started. So we're just going to, off camera, we're just going to overlay on that. So we're going to overlay a little bit of the purples and a little bit of the reds, and then of course the bronze, which is very golden and works beautifully on the plate. If you haven't tried that paint, you've got to give it a try. It is so rich looking. So that little bit of white that you see is not white. That is glazing liquid that I added to the paint to extend the dry time, because I'm using Nova Color paint. Dries really fast, like so fast that I really have to speed up working on the plate. Now look at how beautiful that color is. So I want some pages that have like a real solid golden background, and then I want others that are just, very delicate, sort of the ghost prints. And this one, I saw I had some grunge on the plate, and I knew mixed with the gold it would be beautiful. I'm saying gold. It is bronze, but it looks gold to me. So you can see I'm almost getting edge to edge with the paper by patchworking it. The medical exam paper is 14 inches long, or wide, I should say. And then I've been cutting it about, 8.5, 9 inches. Or maybe it's more like 10 inches. I'm working on an 8 by 10 plate, so I guess my papers are cut about 10 inches. Now I tried to put the purple underneath to show through the way I do when I'm working with deli paper. It didn't quite work, but it was a test. So most of this session is a test to see whether I like the medical exam paper for collage, number one, and also just try different techniques that I use with the deli paper to see if it reacts the same way. And that was one of them. Frequently when I have like transparency showing on my deli papers and I don't want it to be transparent, I'll add color to the underside of the paper and it works beautifully. It shows right through. It did not work with the medical exam paper. So now we have a ghost, and I'm going to try overlaying that. Now this is fluid paint, so it is drying fast, but we did get a pretty good pickup, and it left an outline. So we'll probably pick that up with something. We'll just let it go. We're just going to keep moving and let it go to the next print. So this is a red violet from Utrecht. I recently bought a small bottle just to see how their fluid paint works on the plate. So I'm still getting used to the medical exam paper. It's very thin, so it easily wrinkles when you put it down on the plate. You really have to learn how to do it. It's kind of challenging. Now that fine line picked up somewhat, but not a whole lot. I still have some on the plate. I do like the thinness of the medical exam paper, for getting into these like little nooks and crannies. It is good for that. But I'm still not sure that it replaces rice paper for me. So, when I want rice paper, I just want rice paper. It is very inexpensive though. You get 2 large rolls for very little money. I think it was like $12 for 2 big rolls that are 14 inches wide. And it's just, you can't beat that. Price-wise, it's really good. You see what I mean about the wrinkles? I'm still not getting it. It's not working well for me. Of course, the wrinkles could be very nice too. So here I'm trying to add a little bit of the quinacridone to the bronze just to see if I can tint it a little bit. I don't think I added enough. And most definitely keep another piece of, scrap paper up to protect your hands. This paper is thin, the paint comes right through it. So that dried very quickly. This is that quinacridone purple. So purple and this golden bronze color, you can't get any richer than that. I love that combination. And I do love red and purple. I've always loved that color combination. So I'm doing a lot of overlaying of pattern. So I'm trying to pick up just like some spots, like not the entire, I don't know if you've ever tried that. I'm going for an uneven application. Of course, now the paint is drying, so I don't know how much I'm going to get. But even the slightest little bit makes a difference. So now I've switched to the red iron oxide, which is warmer. I've been leaning towards warmer colors these days. So I'm overlaying that. It's a very transparent color. Overlaying that on that other very busy sheet, toning it down a bit. So now I'm applying paint only to the center. See what I mean by the thinness of this paper? The paint just comes right through. So this should be interesting because the paint mixed, that was left on my brayer, mixed with the paint. Yeah, I'm definitely loving the warmer colors. And this is the quinacridone nickel azo gold, the one that was discontinued. I'm going to try picking this up with the deli sheet. So now I'm left with a really beautiful ghost. And I'm going to just pick this up with Titan Buff because it'll be more neutral, something maybe I could use. I don't know if I'm going to use it for this session, but I'm always thinking I need more neutral papers on occasion. So Titan Buff is one of my favorite paints to pick up with. Look at that. That'll be a nice accent neutral. But look at how beautiful all these colors look together. So again, that is the, now I'm confused. I'm not sure if what was on my palette knife was the nickel azo gold. I think it was. I think I squirted out too much and then lifted some with my palette knife. It's very, very similar. On camera, it's hard to tell. It's very similar to the red iron oxide. And I love how these dots came out. And that paper will probably go transparent. But that's part of my testing in this session, is making sure that the medical exam paper goes transparent enough. I already know that deli paper does. I just don't know how this will work. The ghost didn't really pick up, so I'm going to have to use another color to pick that up. Oh, I decide back to Titan Buff, more neutral papers. This one has less variation in color than the other one did. The other one really had some nice, I don't know, orangey colors as well as the bronze, and it almost looked kind of copperish. This one is going to be more, you know, bronze on Titan Buff. And we're losing around a lot around the edges, as you can see. So I'm going to try to pick some of that up now. So two things happened here. That beautiful strip right there, absolutely love on the deli paper. And look at what happened here. Like, the fact that it didn't all pick up was actually a really great accident. That is going to be a great paper to use. That little strip right there got me all excited. And probably I'll use that gold strip too. And hopefully that paper will go transparent. We will do that test when we're in the collage. So I'm definitely leaning more towards the warmer papers. So we'll see when we actually do the collage what I decide to do. But we've got a lot to choose from here. Including some nice neutrals. So I'm just laying out the papers to see what I might want to work with today in the collage. I'm pretty sure this is where I want to start anyway. I'm definitely thinking that some of these dots would be, you know, a good test. So we're definitely going to try that. And we have a nice clean spread to work with. So now you could see how big those pages are compared to the size of my papers. So you could see why I really wanted to patchwork this, because you need nice large papers when you're working in this size journal. Or you end up, you know, really doing a lot of patchworking within the page, which can sometimes get sloppy. So this was another page that I didn't do on camera that was just a pickup. And it's so beautiful that I kept trying to use it here, but it was a little bit too neutral and too grungy. It didn't really go with the richness of the other papers. So I'm using some gel medium. So I added it just to the top. I'm going to work from the top down. And, you know, the first thing I'm noticing, this is my first time working with the medical exam paper, especially large like this. It's out of control. It's really difficult to get the wrinkles out. It was, I think I'm going to like working with it in smaller pieces, but trying to glue down an entire sheet on a big piece of paper like this, it was challenging. And so I didn't get it straight. I'll have to fix that later, but we will work it out. So I'm going to use this to see just how transparent it goes. So you have to spray it first. It does look like it goes very transparent when you spray it. But whether or not it keeps that transparency is another story. So I'm just like using my T-square to make sure that I get it somewhat straight. I still think the deli paper is a little bit more transparent. Maybe just a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm really changing my mind a lot. I was struggling with this one for a little bit. And again, I'm back to the, especially that paper on the left. And then finally I discard it. But I love this paper. Oh, I'm back with that one again. I really, really wanted to use it, but I don't think it was right for this particular project. But again, I wanted to try testing the transparency with this one. Because all of that, you could see through it, see on the blue. So that purple will show through and get knocked back a little bit. So we're just going to go right over that. So I cut the gold like the width of my ruler. So on this side, I decide I'm going to go from the gutter out. Maybe that'll be easier. And it does seem to be working better. So the other thing that I noticed with these papers is when they're wet with all that gel medium, they look like they're curling. As you could see from that one on the left side, it looks like it's curling a bit, but it will dry flat. you know, once the gel medium completely dries. So at this point, I'm going to let this dry, and then we're probably going to, you know, trim around all of the edges, and then we can see what else it needs. So while I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm playing with this idea of this gold strip to kind of repair that little mistake that I made in the gutter on the left side. So this is a possibility. And also I'm looking at that dot I just love. It has a little bit of the bronze, it has a little bit of the nickel azo gold. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to just cut it out, leave just a tiny bit around the edge. It's not going quite transparent enough for me. So I squirted it a little bit, and it did seem to do a much better job after that. So I'm still waiting for it to all dry and everything. So I'm looking at what possibly could be like a focal point on here. And so I'm looking to maybe layer some of these papers. So I don't want perfect circles, so I'm just going to randomly cut. And I'm thinking this might be a good way to use this neutral paper. I'm looking for more contrast now. I'm realizing I'm a big lover of contrast, and right now this has no contrast. So none of these papers were really making it for me. Even that purple was just not dark enough. It was not giving me the contrast that I needed. So I'm really struggling at this point. But then I found this paper. And even though it has none of the bronze in it or whatever, it's got a lot more details in it. It has, maybe because it's different, it's adding contrast. It's also a little bit darker as well. And so I have two pieces of it actually that I made with different stencils. And so I think this is going to work. I definitely needed something different and something darker. And possibly layered. So I know that it's not quite there yet. So I'm still thinking, do I need anything else? And I'm still thinking I need to use this gold. I'm probably going to need another piece of it. But something is still missing, so I'm not quite sure wet yet. So I do like odd shaped things. So I have this piece of paper that's left over from when I cut the circle, and it's got me thinking. So a lot of times those things when you were cutting for a specific thing and then you have this piece left over and it's got like a random edge, those are the things that, attract my eye. And I think this is so much more interesting now. So I start gluing down before I lose my idea and it starts to fall apart. So I also don't want to change my mind at this point. So I'm already changing my mind. I took away the gold. Yeah, that's good. I just want to connect that right side a little bit to it. And this is wet strength tissue. It's not the medical exam paper. Okay, so I am finally gluing down that piece, fixing the gutter. So I decide the gold should go on the other side. I'm sorry my book shifted over to the left so much that you're not seeing the entire spread, but you will eventually. So I'm going to take one of my random cuts from the bronze paper, and I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. So I'm also finishing up that edge. I want it all the way to the top. So I had cut another piece of gold or bronze. And that one had a little bit of purple grunge on it, so that was nice. And I still have to trim up, Of course, now that I have a little piece, I'm like wondering, should I put it somewhere? I don't. I'm happy with it the way it is. And I also added that orange dot over that oddly shaped cut bronze piece. And it was on deli paper, so it looks very transparent. Okay, so now we're going to trim it up. It'll look much better after it's trimmed up. So notice how much flatter it is now. Really looks good. So I was not happy to have so many wrinkles. With the rice paper, I do not have as many wrinkles, so I am missing my rice paper still. But in the meantime, the exam paper does print well, and it's inexpensive. So it is a good choice. It is definitely something you should, maybe consider. I'm still in the market for a rice paper, a good rice paper that prints well on the gel plate and is thin. If you hear of one, please let me know. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this long session where we went from gel printing to collage. Don't forget to create, inspire, and share, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.